We Know Now's mission is to discuss and have dialogue around the myths and truths about hair loss and also the solutions. And today's show is all about hair loss communities. And we have two guests today. Our first guest is Nadia Hughes. She's the proud owner of Hair Again. She is the founder of Tone, which is Trichologists on a Mission, which we're all a part of. And then also we have Miss Jean Pickford. She is the executive director of CARF. And CARF is Sister Tricia Alopecia Research Foundation. And they'll be here to discuss their organizations with us.
Yes. And the reason that it's important to talk about the hair loss communities is because usually when people have scalp disorders, experience alopecia areata or any of the other types of alopecias and scarring alopecias, they tend to think that they're the only ones, and they're the only ones going through, what they're going through. And sometimes you just need somebody to talk to that has experienced the same thing that you are experiencing. It's not so much that these organizations provide solutions, but what they do provide is the camaraderie for people, access to information that people may not know about, different research trials that's going on, and also connecting them to the right type of doctors also too, because a lot of these communities have partnerships with a lot of the derms and other specialists that really specialize in hair loss and scalp disorders. So today
Also, I was going to say, Lori, is in regards to Nadia. Nadia is the founder of Trichologists on a Mission. So there is also organizations that are surrounded around the practitioner themselves, the hair loss specialists. There are places we can go to talk about what we've learned. Like our show is called What We Know Now, so because this is an ever evolving, I guess, profession where you continue to learn. And so you have to, you need a place so that you can have continued education. So not only are there hair loss communities for the individual who is experiencing the hair loss, but there's also organizations for people who actually practice trichology.
Right.
Yeah. Right. So that is a great thing. Obviously, we're all members of Trichologists on a Mission, and it's been a helpful vessel, I guess, with learning new technologies and new treatment.
Absolutely. And Trichologists on a Mission also is a great resource guide for clients who are looking for help. They can go to one website, and look for a trichologist in their area as well.
Right. And like we spoke about last week, trichologist or trichology itself has nothing to do with the aesthetic part of the hair and scalp. It's more, it's creating solutions and finding root causes of why the person is having this issue and everything. So, yeah,
absolutely.
Absolutely. I think Jean is here, Lori.
Okay, well,
so we can get started with Jean.
Yes,
we sure can.
Yes. So I would like to go ahead and welcome Jean to the show. And I want to read a little bit about Jean. Her name is Jean Pickford. She's the executive director of CARF, which is Cicatricial Alopecia Research Foundation. Jean Pickford established PickPoint LLC in June of 2017 after seeing a strong need for an experienced nonprofit professional to help accelerate, enhance, and expand the mission of patient advocacy nonprofits. Having worked with other consulting organizations in past leadership roles of regional, national, and international organizations, she's always had this vision. She wanted to create a consulting business where she could utilize her diverse nonprofit operations and management background while driving her passion for patient advocacy. And she has, as if she was a long-standing employee. So I would like to welcome Jean Pickford to the panel.
All right.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear
Hi.
me?
Jean.
We can
I'm struggling here with the video. I don't know why. Can you see me?
No,
not
we
yet.
can't see you yet.
Not yet. Okay. Let me
No
just see what I
problem.
can do
Okay.
here. I'm just going to.
no, it's.
Oh, it might be. Let's see. Maybe doing something.
Yeah, I have my video unclicked, so it should show me. You know what? I may, if it's okay, can I just leave the meeting and I'll come back in?
Sure, that's fine.
Okay. Okay.
Great.
All right.
Okay. Yep, not a problem. Not a problem. It's so funny, like Mrs. Murphy's Law is always in full effect with us. Like if it probably can happen, it's gonna happen. But it doesn't take away. It's still gonna be a great show.
But this is gonna be my first time meeting Jean.
Yeah.
Have you met her,
Yes.
Kimmy?
No, I have not.
But Lori has.
No. Yes, because I've been to the CARF conferences. They have patient doctor conferences, and it's really a great thing because you have all the doctors. Their board is made up of doctors and patients alike. So every 2 years, they have a conference, and of course this year there's Jean. Of course, this year the conference was canceled due to COVID-19, but Jean is going to be talking about something coming up that's really great in place of the conference for this year. So yeah, there's Jean.
Yay. Okay.
Hey, Jean.
Hi. I'm in a hotel room in Virginia Beach, Virginia.
I know you're by me.
Am I? Yeah.
Yes.
So I have two college. I have a graduate from college and I have a college age kid. So I just dropped one off at college and the other one is starting his new job. So we're on our way down south. So we stopped here and we got torrential rains here. So Lori, I don't know if I brought the rain or what.
No, I think it was coming already, Jean. You were just driving into it.
It was awful. Well, thank you so much for having me and inviting me to the meeting tonight. I really appreciate it. I am so excited. I think CARF is on the positive trajectory. We're doing such great things. Lori, you know, because she's been integral in a lot of our strategy and our discussions that we've had over the past few months. And I'm excited to share this information with you guys and hopefully can get more people involved and, we can provide more value to the scarring alopecia community. So I do have a couple slides. Can I share my screen? Would that be okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, go ahead.
All right, I'm going to start from the beginning. And so hopefully you can see this is an organizational update. Just to give you a little bit about me, I have 30 years of nonprofit leadership experience. I've come from several organizations prior to starting my own company. I was with Tay-Sachs, which is a rare genetic disorder. And that was my first foray into the nonprofit world, which was really quite exciting for me because I really, just graduated college and kind of took a job as an administrative person. And I got to learn the world of small nonprofit and rare disease. And then about a few years after being with Tay-Sachs, I left and I went to a very large nonprofit, the American Heart Association, which a lot of people are affected with heart disease. So I learned a lot about the big scale organizations, and that's really where I honed my fundraising skills because I was heavily involved in fundraising. And then after that, I started to have kids. I wanted to be a little closer to home. So I applied for a job in a little rare disease nonprofit newsletter, and I took a job with an organization called FIRST. It stands for the Foundation for Ichthyosis and Related Skin Types. And so ichthyosis is back at another small rare disease. So I kind of went small, big, and then small. And so over the 17 years that I've been doing all that, I really honed a lot of experience in growing nonprofit organizations, but really, truly, to me, making a difference in patients who have a rare disease or have a disease that is relatively unknown has really is what kind of lights my fire. So 3 years ago, I decided that I was ready to share my experiences and my knowledge with other small rare disease organizations, because I felt like there was a need for some of these organizations to kind of, they're kind of stuck and they need to get over the hump. And in order to get over the hump, they need somebody to come in that has experience, but maybe they can't afford a full-time executive director. So they could hire me in a small, in a half-time capacity, so that I could provide my leadership, but I also wasn't breaking the bank. So that's kind of was my platform. And so since then, 3 years ago, I started this my company, and I've had 7 clients. I have people still waiting. I have kind of a list, I guess a waiting list, but I'm really engaged in a couple of these organizations that I really want to see through to be very successful. And one of them is CARF. So here's my philosophy on an organization, and for you to understand where CARF is coming from. I look at it, I call it the house of CARF. And to me, the point of the roof is the peak of the organization, and that's your mission. That's what you are striving to achieve. In order to achieve your mission, most patient advocacy organizations have 3 pillars that hold up the roof: research and science, information and resources, and then the third is support. And that's like the place where you can land when you're, going through something that's very personal to you. You want to be able to join an organization where you feel like you have other people that you can rely on and get support from. And then when I started with CARF, one of the areas that I focused most of my attention at first was the organizational infrastructure, which I call the basement that holds up the house. It has these 3 pillars, and everybody wants to do work in those 3 pillars. But in order to do the work, you need to have the stuff underneath it to support the work that you're going to do. So that's been my model for CARF. So I have the leadership experience, and we have Colleen, who is a communications expert, and the 2 of us pretty much run CARF. We are, both of us are part-time, believe it or not, but hopefully we are producing materials and ramping up our organization to a level where we can become full-time. We have changed the organization so that we are now managing a database where we have patients that are coming into the organization that we are keeping into one master file, so that we can make sure that we are engaging with them at the highest level. So for instance, if somebody joins our organization and they are a medical professional, they're coded that way. If somebody joins the organization and they are an affected patient with FFA or CCCA, we're coding them that way so that we know who we have and what our audience is, so that we can tailor our communications and our materials and our programs to that audience. Just to give you an idea, we have about 35 on average each month of new patients who are contacting CARF every month.
Wow.
And every month I know, it's amazing. Wow. Since we've really ramped up our communications and we updated our website, there's so many people that are finding us, and they're just, they're filling out the little button on our website that says contact us, and they're getting put into our database. There's no charge, there's no fee. We just want to start to build the scarring alopecia community and build up a base of people that we can now leverage when we go to government agencies or pharmaceuticals or to our doctors and say, hey, point number 4, we represent 5,438 patients right now worldwide with some form of scarring alopecia.
Jean, I'm
yes.
sorry. Can I ask for our audience that doesn't know what scarring is?
Okay, so cicatricial alopecia is the technical term for scarring, quote unquote. Scarring is where the actual hair follicle falls out and a scar tissue is formed over the hair follicle, which is ultimately causing the hair follicle to never regrow. So the difference between alopecia areata and scarring alopecia, or cicatricial alopecia is the other term, is that it's permanent hair loss. So patients, when they are initially diagnosed, we did some surveys within our organization, and the majority of our patients are diagnosed between the ages of 40 to 60, and they're primarily women. So they start maybe seeing a little bit of recession on their forehead, or they're getting a little thinning above their ear. and they're like, something doesn't seem quite right. So they go to their doctor or, or a dermatologist. And at first, what I'm learning is that a lot of these women, because they're in that age bracket, the doctor will say, hey, are you under a lot of stress, or are you going through menopause? This could cause you. And so they're like, yeah, nobody really knows. So they kind of, give them maybe some topical treatments and say, okay, bye-bye. And then, 3-4 months later, they come back and they're like, this is progressing. It's getting worse.
Mm-hmm.
There is some itching, there's some redness, and there is some flaking that are involved with scarring alopecia. So that may start to increase. And by the time a lot of these patients are actually diagnosed, they are well into the inflammatory process of the scarring, and that they are trying to stop the progression, but what hair they have lost already will not grow back.
Perfect.
So,
thank you so much for explaining to that, because
sure.
some people, they hear alopecia, they just think hair loss. They're not sure about the scarring piece of it all.
And Dana, I'll tell you, when I started with CARF, or when I first started in skin diseases, which is where most of my experience is, I used to go to meetings and there would be somebody there from CARF and there would be somebody there from NAF, National Alopecia Areata Foundation. And I used to say, well, why are there two separate organizations? Like, why aren't you together? It doesn't make sense to me. But as I learned more about it, the emotional impact and the biological process are completely different than alopecia areata. And so CARF is definitely separate from NAF. Although we're really friendly with them, it is a separate type of disease. They are not related. And people sometimes mix them up, but they should not be. And there's a special audience for scarring alopecia.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Sure. So anyway, so at this point we have 5,400 patients. We have just done a survey, which I mentioned, and we are publishing the results of that in our June newsletter that's going out. But we're discovering a lot of really key data about our patients and when they're diagnosed, how much time they spend on their hair, what are they looking for, what bothers them the most. And we're really trying to ramp up our relationships with our patients so that we can be more of a valued resource. And part of that is planning our strategy. And Lori was great. She was part of our strategic planning committee. We met for a couple months every Monday, and we really kind of talked about the organization and where we can be of most value.
Yes.
And of course, I have to throw in there number 7. Everybody knows any nonprofit, we have to raise money. So fundraising is thrown in there.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's what you need to help. How can you help people or help support? It takes money.
It does. It takes money and it takes people. And I think, think it also takes
commitment.
Correct. Yes. And I think CARF right now is positioned, I feel like we have the staff, we have the doctors who are interested, we have the patients that are growing every day, and we have the medical scientific community. So to me, all those pieces are there, and the final piece we're missing is just funding. And if we can get that, then we can start to really put all these pieces together and make a difference.
Jean, how does the doctors get involved?
Well, the doctors are involved in 2 levels. We have a very integral part of our organization is our board of directors and our medical and scientific advisory board. And we call them our MSAB. And they are a group of elite physicians who are very familiar with scarring hair loss. And they serve as advisors to us that we can call when we get a question from a patient that we cannot answer, or if they want a consultation. We also have something that is number 7 here on this slide, which is our physician referral listing. Okay. And what we like to do is we like to consult with our top leading doctors on people they recommend that are familiar with scarring hair loss, because what I've learned is that some patients go to a doctor that know nothing about it, and they come back as frustrated. Right. They sometimes come to these doctors and know more than the doctor does.
Yes.
And that's very discouraging, because here you are struggling with this disease and this condition, and you're like, you don't have anything to help me. So what we've tried to do is kind of poll our patients, find out who knows about it and who you feel is reliable and credible. And we add them to this physician referral listing. And so we've been building that over the past 2 years of adding physicians. But ultimately, I'll be honest, if somebody calls us from a certain town or an area, like they may have to drive or travel to an expert, because there's not an expert in scarring alopecia right around the corner in every community.
Jean, do you also have a growing list of trichologists as well?
We are working on that. We are getting, and that is another area that we would like to explore. In fact, let me keep going, because I do want to tell you something about that, because we are going to do a webinar on that.
Okay, great.
Okay,
great.
So
exciting.
I know. I know, it's awesome. Okay, so first things first, we redesigned our website in 2018. For those of you who didn't know who we were prior to that, it was kind of a very old, outdated website. So we managed to update that. Then this year we implemented something called free webinars, where we offered 3, over the period of 3 months, we had a monthly webinar. One was just about the basics of scarring alopecia. One was about COVID, obviously, and how if you have an autoimmune disorder, and like how do you cope with, and especially with the Plaquenil that was becoming really popular as a possible treatment for COVID, people were really concerned. So we did that one. And then we did one on stress. And because, I look at scarring alopecia or this type of condition as a two-sided coin. There's the emotional and psychosocial part of it, but you flip over the coin and there's the medical part of it. And so I really feel that as an organization, to be able to provide for the whole patient, we need to be able to provide both. We need to be able to provide some support and emotional support, but we also need to be able to provide medical and information and science.
Right.
So those are the 3 webinars, but then that kind of evolved into a conference. And because of the situation we're in, we were going to have our face-to-face conference in Nashville, but that's gotten pushed back because of COVID. And so we've jumped on board, and we are hosting a Hair Necessities virtual online conference, and it's on July 18th. Am I covering you with my screen? Is that better?
No, you're fine.
Oh, you're fine.
Oh, sorry. Okay, sorry, I can't tell. Yeah, so it's July 18th. It's on our website. We've been promoting it. For those individuals who are watching right now and would like to get more information about this conference, I highly encourage you to just, sign up. It's a button on our website. It says contact us, and we're at CARF, CARFINTL. It's an abbreviation for international, CARFIntl.org. And so, sign up, do contact us, and we'll start sending you some emails and stuff, and you can decide if this is something that you're interested in. We're going to have 8 speakers. We have brought in the leading experts that on the conference call, and then we are also going to have live Q&A afterwards. So each speaker is going to talk for about 6 to 8 minutes, and then there's going to be about a 10-minute session afterwards for questions.
Jean, what platform is this going to be on?
This is going to be on YouTube, and it's going to be a live link on YouTube and Facebook. But the greatest part about it is we're obviously archiving this, and we're going to make it available on our website via Vimeo. So anybody who can't make July 18th can then log in and see it.
Good.
One of the pluses of this conference too is once you sign up, there's an option for you to provide questions prior to the conference. If there's something you would like to know about, we are going to forward them to the doctors so that they can incorporate them into their presentation, so we can get as many questions answered as possible.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, so it's going gangbusters. We have last night was the deadline for the early bird registration, and our email was going nuts. So we're going to probably have close to 200 people that are going to be on this virtual conference. But one of the things, good. I know. But one of the things I really feel that CARF needs to make sure that we address is CCCA. we are looking to expand our resources and our library for patients with CCCA.
I'm so glad to hear you say that, Jean.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I know
Right.
this is needed.
Really?
I know this is
Yeah.
needed.
Yeah.
So what I would like to do, and I've been discussing it with Colleen, but we're going to host, in addition to this Hair Necessities Conference, this fall, I'm going to put together a CCCA virtual online conference, and I'm going to pull together experts in this area. And I'm also going to incorporate maybe some, we're working right now with a committee on this, but some lifestyle webinars that we can include so that, patients can come on and also learn the medical stuff, but maybe there's some lifestyle tips that they can learn as well. I really feel like there should be an organization for patients with this. And I think CARF has not necessarily been accused of it, but we've been heavily focused, and people feel that we're focused in LPP and FFA. And that seems to be and we do have a lot of patients with those diagnoses, but we also have patients with CCCA. And I think that there's more out there that can really come together and we can start to help provide value. So that's one of my highlights of my strategy.
I appreciate that.
Sure. Yeah, no, absolutely. And then we have an educational library, which we were just talking about. And you mentioned something, Dana. What was your question? And I said, hold on a second. It was something that had to do with education.
I lost it.
I know
Me too.
I asked about the doctors.
Physician referral, the doctors.
I
don't know. It may come back to me.
Okay.
But part of the educational library is to be able to put some how-to videos behind, so people can see, how do you apply your eyebrows, or how do you look for a wig? What are the things you want to know about? Like, what's a safe practice for when you go into, to buy a wig? What should you be looking at?
Right.
How about tattooing? All those things that are just like the lifestyle stuff that people want to know. I feel like coming to an organization that has been vetted through doctors and it's reliable and credible is so much more relieving and reassuring than just going somewhere and typing it into a chat room or a Facebook group and seeing all everybody's ideas, which is great, but it's nice to know that something's been vetted through some physicians.
Right. Oh, the question was if you have trichologists as part of your group.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Well, that's part of the educational library. I already have a physician who has volunteered to do us educational video on trichology and trichoscopy. So I think that is going to be really popular. And we just got to get him on the calendar and get our videographer out there, and we're gonna get it going. So that's going to be part of the library.
Well, we're excited about that, right, Jean?
I know you are. You don't have to tell me.
Wait, look, you got 3 right here. Actually, 4 other guests, and then we have a whole trichologist community out there that's really, that I say are like-minded, like us, and it's not just the Band-Aid type of solution, but actually these are people who actually go and train with physicians and, do the research and learn the medical terminology and learn the medical aspect of it to be able to help. So you have that group of people out there that's, all you have to do is say the word, and I think you could get a good amount of people right off the bat
and Lori, you've been wonderful, and you seem to be our portal to this community, because I really think that we want to expand. And maybe now after this call and this presentation, I'd love to meet with your committee or whoever and talk about ways that CARF and Trichology, we can kind of work together so that we can advance, your mission and what you're trying to accomplish, but also help our patients. And I think that that is something that I'm totally open to.
Great. Yeah. Love to, I'm always open to help CARF, whatever you need, just let me know, and I'm ready.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Jean, for being here. I'm glad to put the face with the name, And we all will be on the virtual conference.
Woohoo!
So
Yes.
so
I know.
we're excited about that.
I'm always talking about Jean, and they're like, "Who's Jean?"
Right. So it's
Yeah.
good to put the face with the name. Thank you so much for being here with us and sharing what you have.
Yeah.
One of the things we like to ask all our guests is, what do you know now about hair loss that you would like to share with everybody?
Well, what I know now, and I'll tell you, is that I see hair loss, especially scarring alopecia. There's so much more interest in it recently. There seems to be a growing group of young medical physician scientists who are interested in this type of scarring, of this type of hair loss. We have a medical and scientific advisory board, and we go to the American Academy of Dermatology every year. And last year, before COVID, we opened up our meeting to anybody who wanted to come. And we had 13 new dermatologists who came in and sat in on our meeting. We also participated in a hair loss symposium. And there was 22 posters that were up there by young physician scientists on cicatricial alopecia, which was phenomenal because we've never seen that before. There's growing interest in the scientific field with scarring alopecia. One of our presenters on the 18th is going to be Angela Cristiano at Columbia University, and she's doing work right now with this supercomputer. She sat at the table and explained it to me in very layman's terms, but she's able to actually figure out what exactly is the difference between alopecia areata and scarring alopecia, and where these points on this computer fall, and that there's truly a difference in all three or in all of the main types of scarring alopecia. So it's not something that I think a lot of doctors kind of lump them all together. She's clearly identifying that there's different pathways for different types.
Oh, she's breaking it down.
And that's awesome too, because all of us on here are city certified in biomedical research. So we can all be part of any research having to do with humans. So
well, see, and that's something else that I would love to approach, because I've experience in this. But once we get COVID out behind us, when we have our national face-to-face conference, I would love to open up our patients to and to our scientists to have come in and use our patients for science. If you have a group of patients in one area for a weekend, how could you not want to come and leverage these patients? Because they want to give to science, they want to be studied, they want to help the next generation. So if there's a study that you're working on, or you need to do a biopsy, or you want to do a survey, come into our conference and we'll set that up so that you can have actual patients there who you can do the work with. So, and you guys can certainly be a part of that as well. If there's anything that you want, we can make them available. As long as we know ahead of time, when they register, we can have a box that says, hey, are you interested in participating in research? Let us know and we'll reach out.
Right. Oh, awesome. Thank you so much, Jean. It was such a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing with us.
We have to have you back. We have to have you back, Jean.
Oh,
absolutely.
Bring me. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, bring me. I mean, in any topic you want to talk about, because I really truly believe this organization has great things to do. And, partnering with groups like yours and people all over, we can just make this stronger and better for our patients.
Yes, most definitely. You will be back.
Okay.
Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Jean.
All right, take care. Bye.
Don't forget, and we'll put Jean's information and Carp's information up at the end of the show, so you'll be able to go get in contact with them, and be sure to go to Carp's website so that you can register for the conference on July 18th.
Yes.
You got it.
Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ladies, bye. Stay well.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. For those that are on Facebook, go ahead and show her some love by thumbs up and giving some hearts
and all of that stuff. Yes.
Go ahead.
Awesome.
Our next guest is is Nadia Hughes. She is the founder of Tome and the proud trichologist on a mission, and the proud owner of Here Again and a holistic practitioner in trichology. Hey, Nadia. Hey, let me give you some more information about Nadia. Okay, Nadia focuses her practice in holistic healing by assisting clients to uncover the root cause of their hair loss issues, also focusing in cellular regeneration and controlling internal inflammation, achieving life-changing results. Nadia is also a certified research assistant with the University of Chicago, Illinois, currently holding a research in CCCA, a scarring type of alopecia that's affecting African American women. She also is the founder and president of Trichologists on a Mission, an organization of trichology practitioners across the USA, Canada, Caribbean, and Mexico.
Oh, she's
International.
Nadia is an international woman with a goal of educating the communities by educating stylists and barbers on the epidemic of hair loss. She is also the author of The Era of Epigenetics, Reversing Hair Loss in Weeks. Welcome to the show, Nadia.
Hey, Nadia.
Thank you, ladies. I'm so excited that you guys invited me. I'm like, yay.
Welcome.
She's actually she's like our sister in arms.
Right.
You know, we're like, yeah, she's a colleague, she's a friend, she's a sister, she's all of that to us.
Okay, let me see.
Welcome,
my charger said that my battery is dying. What?
Oh no! Oh, no, Nadia!
Oh my gosh!
Hurry!
Sorry. I don't know what happened. I thought I had it all covered and stuff. You know, technical difficulties, like, you know.
Nadia, please share with us about how you became the founder of Tome.
Wow. Well, you know, I felt that there was something missing in our community, unity, helping each other. And also, I guess the holistic therapy is the more natural, because we always talked about getting to the root cause, but now what? How are we going to help those clients? So, so I say, you know what? My vision is to be able to have a community that we can all uplift each other with information, education, reach out to doctors, you know, physicians of all type of practices, and receive the information directly from them. As we're not doctors, we're still stylists, but we were so eager to comprehend, understand what was going on at a cellular level. So with that, I said, if we can create an event where we can all gather together and get the information directly from those physicians, talk to the community, our community of hair loss individuals that are suffering, and find the pieces, the missing pieces that it was needed. So about 4 years ago, I want to say, I met Lori at an event, which it was Hair Summit Plus. And you know, it was something that I was talking about it. It was in my mind, but finally, when I got to meet Lori, one day she was like, "Are you Nadia?" And I'm like, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh my God," you know. So we got together, and she was the one that heard the craziness that it was coming out of my mouth, and she was like, "No, I get you." And I thought she was so sweet to me. I'm like, "Lori, you think I'm crazy?" And she's like, "No, I do believe that everything you're saying is going to come true."
You know what it is, Naughty crazy knows crazy, you know. You know,
right?
Crazy gets crazy.
What's the old saying? Game recognized game, right?
Yeah.
But, except our game is a little different.
Right.
It's game in a good way.
Right.
Let me tell you, we start gathering. It was 18 of us. We gathered 18 people, right, Lori, at the beginning.
Yep.
To the point that everybody dropped till it was just me and Lori there left, and then a couple of more people start following. And they identified with what we were saying, because when I came into Trichology, there was very few information people were willing to share. Okay. And I don't really think, sincerely, I don't really think that they didn't want to share. It's just that they were just as lost as I was at a certain point, you know.
So what is the mission of Tome, or Trichology on a mission?
So Trichology is a mission. My goal was to be able to educate ourselves as a stylist, to bring the information to our communities.
Okay.
Because we know that our communities, the African Americans, the Hispanics, those communities, they don't go to the doctor.
Okay.
We don't go to the doctor.
Right.
We don't go. We do all the different remedies at home to heal that patch or that itch or whatever the issue is going on. And I'm like, you know what? There's so much very important information we need to bring to our communities, because those are the ones that are suffering from hair loss. And that was the main goal: bring information to educate the stylists, to bring the education to the communities, and from there start changing our communities. Okay. One person at a time. So that was the main goal, you know, for me personally.
How many members do you have right now? How many members?
Currently, we have 50. We have hit 77 last year, but of course, you know, there's some that they reach certain point of, you know what, I'm gonna shift out to different stuff, and they go, but we're still connected at the end of the day. But we have around 70 that are here in the United States, Canada, Caribbean, and we also have one in Mexico. Okay. So we are very excited to build this community, to be able to help each other, to help those in need.
So how do you help as the founder? How do you help trichologists that want to be a part of this organization? What do you offer to them?
Well, first of all, I share the knowledge that I have gained by doing a lot of research, me personally.
Okay.
So I share that. If they need help with setting up their online store, you know, for their products, if they need to learn how to do consultations online, I help them do that. If they get stuck with a client that they don't know why they're not going further with their results, we go over the information, the process of elimination. We look at blood work, whatever we need to do. If I don't have the answers, I'll find somebody. Sometimes I send them to Lori. You know, sometimes I send it to somebody that has the knowledge to assist them, whatever they need. I also reach out to companies. For instance, if there's companies that, because we use products and tools, I reach out to them, get it in a cheaper price, and we bring it to our trichologists at a cheaper price than if they will get it on their own.
What about your training?
Right.
What about your training that you offer?
So my training, I focus it, as I said, in cellular regeneration. Right now, we are introducing the science of epigenetics, which is the book that I came out with. And because understanding that even that we might have predisposition for hair loss or any other type of disease is very reversible. So there is a part of our DNA sequence that we cannot change, correct? But there's another area that we are able to be the alchemist of our future, of our health. And how is that? Because we can control our sleep patterns, our habits, our eating habits, stress levels, supplementation, you know, things like that, things that we intake, understanding that the food is the information that it gets sent to the body at a cellular level. So the food is telling your body how to behave, you know? Right. So that's how I base my education. Of course.
That's huge. That's huge.
Yes.
What you said was very huge.
Yes.
Because people believe that, okay, mama and daddy lost their hair at 25. I'm going to lose mine and there's nothing I can do about it. And they just slap a wig on their hair and keep going.
Yes. Right. Yeah. And it's so much more than that. And that's the other piece of Tome, is that it's so many of us scattered all over.
Right.
People can contact me, but say they're, you know, from California, from Texas or somewhere. And I'm like, hey, wait a minute. Let me, you know, connect you with, I know somebody, I have a colleague, they're in this place, they're in that place. And we share, we come together to work to help one person, like all of us can gather together and help one person and, you know, help their client. So TOMA is really great in that aspect, that not only are we learning, but we help each other too. So you don't have to be out there flandering around by yourself.
Right.
It's a sisterhood or a community, not a sister, because it includes barbers. Everybody's included. Nobody's excluded. Yeah, it's a family.
Family. So I want to go ahead and throw it out there. Hey, because I see there's a lot of trichologists that are listening and watching today or tonight. So I want to go ahead and throw out there, if you are not a part of TOMA, go ahead, go to Trichologists with an S on a mission.com.
Yes.
Go ahead and register and sign up and become part of this family. You won't regret it. Trust me.
Yeah, most
right,
definitely.
because it doesn't stop you from doing whatever you're doing. It's actually a help. It's a benefit. It doesn't take away from nothing that you're doing. It's just going to add more and be more beneficial for you and your clients.
Yeah. You know, there's times where you want to be able to bounce an idea or bounce something off of somebody. You need to have that group, and that is Trichologists on a Mission. Get with it.
And Nadia is talking about sleeping, because I don't even know when she sleeps. Because she's always posting something new, a new treatment, a new product, a new device, a new training, a new educational video, something. When do you sleep, Nadia?
I do sleep, believe it or not. I do have my sleeping time.
Okay.
And I do enjoy it. I do enjoy it. But the great part, like I said, the great part about TOMA is also that even after our training, our main training that we do, we have constant training in our private group. Every week we meet, every Monday, and we're taking different classes. Holistic coaching. We did hormones.
We did aromatherapy.
We do everything to inform ourselves, to feed ourselves. It is important to stay, you know, on the loop of what's going on, how our body systems function, how coffee affects a person that has, you know, adrenal fatigue, you know, and those are key things, because clients come to us almost broken, mentally, you know, physically, health-wise, everything. So we need to have those protocols ready to be able to assist those clients and lift them up.
Thank you.
Yeah,
so
and
much, Nadia.
And that's a good thing. But that's one of the things why we kind of created this show, is to be able to talk, have a conversation, a discussion, to address. People are always on the internet, constantly looking and searching for answers and things like that. And I know the hard work that we put in, and versus just going and get any old type of information and trying to do that. You know, people spend a lot of money just chasing something. This show is about, you don't have to really go and chase. The people that we're bringing to you are, this could be your one stop right here. And we're not going to have anybody on the show that can tell you something wrong or lead you astray just for the sake of leading you astray, or just for the sake of, you know, trying to take your money or something like that. It's going to be factual. It's going to be proven, all of that stuff. So everybody that we have on our show, that's what it's meant to be, is to be able to give you truths versus myths, and debunk you know, theories that's out there. You get a lot of good information. The people that we have are top notch in whatever specialty field that they come from. Like I told you last week, I'm so blessed to be able to go through this journey, and the people that I meet are real solid individuals, whether they be doctors. You had Jean from CARF. It's just a lot of people that we encounter, and it's really good. So we're trying to bring some resolution and, you know, ease your mind, because hair loss can be devastating. We have clients that come to us, and like Nadia said, they're broken. And our thing is we're not hair people, so to speak. We're more like wellness people because we're taking into account your whole being, not just your, even though you come to us for hair, we have to work on your whole body.
Right.
Because it's not just about the hair, it's deeper than that. So
it's what's feeding the hair, right?
Yes.
Feeding
right.
or
and that
not
comes
feeding the hair.
right.
Yeah.
And that comes from within, you know, and people try to separate like the head and the scalp is something totally different. No, it's part of this whole body here. We got to take care of the whole thing. So
Nadia,
Hughes.
So Nadia, we ask all our guests, what do you know now about hair loss?
Wow.
What do you know now?
Yes.
In a few words. In a few words. In a few words, what do you know now about all your experience, all this time you've been working in this field? What do you know now?
That there's no way I can assist the client without knowing them at a cellular level.
Okay.
I have to be able to see what their blood work says, right? Because it's like when you come to a hair salon and you want to change your hair color, sometimes we lie to the stylist because we want that color so bad, right?
Okay.
And so the clients come in and they tell you, I eat good, I exercise, I sleep good, I'm not stressed, you know?
Like I don't have any issues, but except for right here.
Right, they say men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie, right?
Right.
So this is the reason why your hair is at stall, is not growing. So now I know that the only way I can assist you to recover not only your hair, but your mental health, physical health, you know, is to be able to help you at a cellular level. Yeah.
That's perfect. That is perfect. That is
awesome.
Perfect,
yes.
Thank you.
Nadia Hughes, we love you.
Yes, we do.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here.
I love your back, guys. You know that.
Thank
I love
you.
your back. There's nothing I will not do for my community.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll have you back, Nadia. We have to have you back.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Look, everybody that we have on the show, they're gonna come back.
Come back. Come back.
Like everybody's coming back.
Yeah.
They will be coming
There's so
back.
much to talk about. Oh my God.
It is.
Yes, it is. Because it's a very complex issue. It's not something that just one something is the reason and one something is the solution. It's very complex. So it's a lot to get into. So we'll always have stuff to talk about, always. We want you to kind of stay on. We have she's our starer.
Yes.
Starer. Our starer. And Dr. Scott she's phenomenal. Like she is the guru of nutrition.
Yes.
So if you need to know anything about food, what it's doing, why you eating it, why you should have it, why you shouldn't have it, you need to be calling Dr. Joy, okay? Because she's gonna tell you all about it from, I don't know, if you need a pick me up, a get up, or whatever, call Dr. Joy. She can help you. Call Dr. Joy. So without further ado, here's Dr. Joy with her tip for the week.
Hi, Lori. Kimmy,
Hi,
Dana. Hello.
Hi. Yes. We need to see your
camera on.
We need to see your beautiful face.
Yes.
Okay. We are getting there.
Awesome.
There she's coming.
Okay.
She's coming down.
Hey.
Yes. So look, haven't we had some great guests on today? Okay.
Yes, yes.
But you know what? We got the front line girls. Dana, Kimmy, Lori. Oh my goodness. They're really on the front line, people. So I want you to know that when you sit in their chair, when you call them for a consultation, that they are going to see the results of what has happened. So they're front line because they see everything that has happened to you. it's going to always show up in where? Your hair, on that scalp. You know, I heard the most interesting story today from Eva Lori. And she said a little 3-month-old baby had hair, and then there was no hair, just in case you didn't hear the story. And it was what the mom wasn't putting in her diet. And so we want you to know that the trichologists of the world are going to see your problems first. And so what I want people to know, the trichologists, they are the front line of any hair issue. So you remember those names, Dana, Lori, Kimmy, those are your girls right now. And they are going to point you in the right direction. So, you know, it's like, let's roll up our sleeves here right now and let's learn just a little something that could change your hair in just a week. So first, because we're all just getting started now, I want you to take notice of your hair. I want you to get a testimony. I want you to write your own testimony and where you are right now. What your hair looks like, what your scalp looks like, is there itchy, whatever it is. Take pictures and know your story. Write that story down. Because as we venture into this, just a few weeks, even next week, you may even have a story. And a few months, because we've got programs. If you just decide you're going to do a program, you're going to see results. Now, those are the trichologists. I'm just your nutritionist to help you along, create that healthy lifestyle. So you also want to write the story where you want to be. Do you want your hair to grow? Do you want it to start growing, stop? No, you want your hair to just continue to grow. That's why I have this cute little rosemary. Isn't this something? Rosemary is that one herb that causes hair, that regrowth spurt. Yes, and it just keeps growing and growing. And so, so we want you to just kind of know where you want to end up with your hair. And so I want to say, like 6,000 years ago in Asia, it was known that onions created, beautiful hair. And we look at Asians, we see beautiful hair. We could likely have beautiful hair too, if maybe we were to just adopt one little tip from them. So even if you start to do this little tip between this week and next week, perhaps you may see that change. And the change is add onions. Okay, so guess what? We all know this, sulfur 8. Sulfur 8, guess what's in the onion? Sulfur. And this sulfur creates a lot of things that will cause your hair to change. First of all, there's a little spot in your colon that feeds your scalp. We want to do what? Get that colon clean. And guess what could do that? Onions. So how are you going to do your onions? You could take the onions. You could slice off big onions and put it on your plate with any food that you eat every day. You could juice those onions and put some apples in the blender with it and drink it. You could just sneak the onions in your daily smoothie. And you're getting in all this sulfur instead of necessarily wiping sulfur 8 on your scalp, like on your scalp, on your scalp, and then having that odor all day, and people around you in the office like, what is that smell?
Right.
So, but you could have just drank your sulfur from the onions. So we just want you to get started this week. Put you some rosemary in your tea. Make rosemary tea. You could make some rosemary spray. But you certainly can eat lots of onions this week. You're going to notice that your bowels are going to be cleaner, blood pressure's down, and most of all, that stress level is calming down. It beats your nerves, people. It is so beautiful. Because most people, I'm sure when the trichologists look at your hair, they say, like, what's your stress? What's stressing you out? So guess what? We need a little sulfur. We need to eat those onions. It's been used over 6,000 years already. And, you know, if you have hair that you could just rinse out, so you could juice the onions and wipe that juice on your scalp. Leave it on for 30 minutes, rinse it out. You could do that. So, you know what? We've got to take charge of our own health. And we want it to start with you. And a really good program that, you know, helps you along the way so you can create that testimony. So I can't wait to see you next week. You see, I have a pile of onions here. I just want you to know, get you plenty. These are organics. And so I get excited. And so you can make carrot salad and grate the onions into the carrot salad, the pulp of the carrots. And it makes a wonderful salad. Oh
I can't wait to see you do that, Dr. Scott.
Okay, I can't wait. Yeah. So, wow. So it's all about having a healthy scalp. And so onions can help clear the arteries and make sure the colon first, clear the arteries and get the circulation and food all the way to the scalp area. That is going to be wonderful. So I can't wait to hear and see. Now, let me just tell you, we're going to have testimonies as well. And so all of you who are taking this big challenge to grow bigger, longer, thicker hair at any age, you'll be able to look and read testimonies. That's going to be very exciting because you could steal little secrets and recipes from other people. And that's going to be amazing. So stick around.
Yeah, try it.
Yes.
Try it, people, and let us know next week,
Yes.
you know, if you ate your onions for the whole week and what it did for you. We want to hear back.
Yes.
So you try everything else on YouTube. Consider this your new YouTube channel because we're gonna be giving you information that you can try today, and you know, be able to give us the thing about YouTube. You don't get to give feedback on YouTube. You just watch them do their stuff, and you go try to do it, and then that's it. It either worked for you or it didn't work, but you can't tell them. We're gonna give you an opportunity to tell us, yep, that worked for me, no, it didn't work for me, and then we will also be able to tell you why it didn't work.
Right.
Exactly.
That's the thing. So we can tell you the right way to do it, the wrong way, you know, what you were doing wrong and all of that. So that's what's good about what we know now Wednesdays. So tune in. Thank you, Dr. Joy.
Thank you.
You bet.
Thank you.
Can't wait till next week.
No, can't wait till next week. Next week is going to be awesome.
Yes.
Awesome, by the way.
Yes.
Yes. Yes. And thank you, Nadia.
Thank you, Nadia.
For gracing us. Thank you, Jean Pickford, for coming on, talking about CARF. And be sure to tune in next week, everybody.
Yes. And show us some love on Facebook for Facebook watchers.
I know. Share the video, the replay. You can watch it on our channel. Every week we do invite you to join in on the live Zoom so that way you can ask questions in real time. So don't forget that. The link is always posted on the site for you. And send us your questions in. Like I said, we might be addressing those questions, or that may be the topic of the show for that day. But either way, whether it's the showtime or not, you always have access to us. We're pretty much available 24/7 to answer any questions or anything like that. So yes, this is fun for us. We live for it. Can't you tell?
Yes.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Goodbye, and we'll see you next week.
Same time, same place.
Same time, same place.
Woo-hoo. Okay, that was wonderful.
Tune in next week, same time, same place.
Sorry.
Next week.
Sorry. Here we go.
Okay.
See you next week.
doing it.
What you think about it?
It's not doing it?
No.
No,
Oh man, what is it?
it's okay.
Oh.
All right. Bye, everybody.
It's
That's good.
so
Bye
good.
bye.
We'll post